Hey class, today I'm going to teach you how to write a letter. So that's something that we've done in class before, but it's been a long time. It might be something that you've done with your family. But sometimes we forget. So you might have written a letter to Santa, but I'm going to teach you the proper format to write your letter, and then we'll go into how you're going to do that as well. So let's go ahead and start with what a letter looks like. So when you write a letter, you are going to have a heading. That's going to be the date, and it's going to be in the upper right-hand corner. Sometimes you'll have an address there, but today we're going to do a date. After that, you're going to go down a couple lines, and you're going to do a greeting. That's dear and whoever you're talking to. So you're going to do dear Sam in this case, because we're writing to Sam, and then you're going to have a comma. Then you're going to go down a couple lines and notice that they indent their paragraph here. Also notice that their greeting comes all the way over here, and then their writing comes here. So yours doesn't need to be perfect, especially if you're typing it. It gets a little bit tricky formatting it. I'll show you how to do it for the most part, but that is a little bit tricky, but they did indent their paragraph. So right here is the body. This is like the meat. This is what you're saying to the person that you're writing the letter to. The body all goes together here. When you're finished with your body, notice that they have capitals and punctuation at the end of their sentences. It's not just one big long sentence. They have punctuation throughout it, and then they have capitals at the beginning of their sentences. So that's something to keep in mind, that you're not going to do one big run-on sentence. You have to have multiple sentences with capitals and periods. So then we have the body of our paragraph. Once you have everything that you want to say, you have to close your letter. When you give a closing, notice it's kind of in the middle of your paper, or the middle right side. You're going to close it with either from, or sincerely, or your friend, or love. Any of those closings work, and then you're going to have a comma. So they always start with a capital, and then you'll end it with a comma, and then right below that closing, you're going to sign your name. So that's what a letter looks like, and that's the format that I expect your letter to have. So now that you've seen that, you need to make sure that you read How to Train Your Puppy, and you've already read Bad Dog Dodger. So there's multiple ways that you can do this. You could write it on a piece of paper and your parents can submit it, or you can type it here. So because you could also read your letter if you want, but I'd like to be able to see it, but it doesn't matter. It's up to you. So make sure your letter has these things. Make sure it has the date in the upper left corner of the paper. Make sure it has a greeting followed by a comma. Make sure that the body of the letter is indented, so we indent our paragraph just like we do when we write our regular paragraphs for our four squares. Make sure the closing of your letter is followed by a comma, so that means when you say your friend, comma, or sincerely, comma. Make sure your letter has a signature. You need to write who it's from. So sometimes I get letters, and when we did Harry Potter week, I got these awesome letters, and then it didn't have a name on it. And I'm like, oh, who wrote that? So make sure you always put your name on there. Then make sure your letter has a friendly tone. Nobody wants to get a mean letter, so you want to make sure it has a friendly tone, and then always write neatly. So that's kind of your checklist for your letter today. So you are going to look at Bad Dog Dodger and the How to Train Your Puppy, and you're going to write a letter to Sam, giving him suggestions on how to train his puppy. You might have background knowledge about training a puppy because you've trained a puppy before. You might know some things because of this text. You might know some things from Bad Dog Dodger. You might have had some feedback to give him as you were reading it. You're like, oh, you should do this with your dog. So you're going to give him some advice. You can use evidence from both texts, and then you can use this checklist to check off your letter. So when you're ready to write your letter, you're going to click this button, the Submit Assignment. So you can see it matches this one. I'm going to go ahead and click that. If you chose to write your letter, you'll just hit Choose File, and then your parents can help you upload that letter. Then, if you don't want to upload it and write it, you can type it. So I'm going to teach you how to do that on here. It's a little bit tricky, so you have to follow my directions. Right here, this button right next to the number is going to let you write it over on this side. So remember how we had that header at the top, we had the date. So it looks like today is the 11th. So I'm going to write April 11, 2020. So then I'm going to hit my enter button, and I think I'm going to go down 2 times, and then I'm going to click this left to right button because that's how I usually write, and I'm going to go ahead and do my greeting. I'm going to maybe do a space and then go dear, I'm writing to Sam. So dear Sam, and then I end with a comma. So then I'm going to go down 2 more spaces, and then I need to indent my paragraph. So I'm going to space it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I can start writing to Sam. I think that you need to Give your dog more treats. I also think you need to give him lots of attention. He is a great dog. Maybe you're giving a list and you're saying first, second, third, and using those linking words. Maybe you're using next or also, so you can go ahead and keep doing your body. When you're finished with your paragraph, you'll indent it 2 more times, and then you can go ahead and press this button right here, and that's going to align it to the center. So then you can say love, comma, space it again, Miss Bond. And then maybe I want it to line up, so I'll space it out that way. And there is my letter. I've got my header, I've got my greeting, I've got my body, I've got my closing, and my signature here. So hopefully that helps. I can't wait to see your letters. Don't forget to submit when you are finished, or else it'll all go away and all your progress will be gone, and that would make me sad. Or if you decide to do a video of yourself, you just press this button here, and then you'll be able to record yourself.